I was so relieved to hear from Dr. Angus Pike before talking about the fact that in terms of our exercise, we don't need to be gym junkies. Can I get a witness in the house? We're talking a lot about success and effectiveness today, but I'm here to tell you that when it comes to a disciplined exercise regime, I am a complete and miserable failure. And I have tried everything. I've tried personal trainers, I've tried the gym, I've tried classes, I've tried team sports, but I just can't stick to anything. I do love exercise, however. I love physical activity, I love snowboarding, I love kayaking, I love swimming, I love bushwalking, but when it comes to planning out my week, I just can't get that regime happening that we're all supposed to. But recently, in fact about 18 months ago, I came across something called Wii Fit. And I can honestly state that 18 months for me to stick with one method of physical activity is quite a miracle. And Wii Fit has been that method of physical activity. So today I brought along my Wii Fit board. I thought I'd bring a prop, if you like. So I'm just going to pop this down here. Now, what happens when you do Wii Fit, my favourite part is simply the body test. And you hop on the Wii Fit board like so, and you stand on the board for, 30 seconds or something, and then it measures you and it comes up with all these different parameters. So your centre of gravity, your weight, and you can even do your Wii Fit age. And I'm 30, so if I get around 30 or younger than 30, I'm loving my Wii Fit age. But my favourite thing to do is just measure my centre of gravity. And this is basically, you put your left foot here, you put your right foot here, you stand in the middle of the board, and at the end of the time, it tells you where your centre of gravity is and how balanced you are. I can never, ever, ever, in my 18 months of trying, get 50% left, 50% right. It drives me insane that I cannot get 50-50. But I've got close on occasions, but I'm just like, am I that unbalanced? Am I completely out of whack? Is my centre of gravity completely off? I can't get 50-50, and it drives me absolutely insane. I believe, though, that there's application from our Wii Fit board to our lives, our everyday lives. You know, our lives are like the Wii Fit. We have these crosshairs, and our little red dot is supposed to be in the middle of the crosshairs. It's supposed to be hitting the bullseye. We have aspirations, we have vision, we have goals, we have dreams, desires, we have all these things, and we want them, don't we, to be hitting the target. That's why we're here today. We want to learn some ideas. We want to be able to hit the target for what we're going for. And our little red dot needs to be in the sweet spot. So I'm going to talk today about how we can get our little red dot in the sweet spot. One of the things about the Wii Fit, when you do the body test, is that it has this incredibly annoying voice when it's measuring you. Has anyone got a Wii Fit? Yeah? And it goes something like this. Measuring, 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 done. And it's quite annoying, and you can imagine doing it several times a week for the last 18 months. That voice kind of does ring in my head. But once it's done, it's measured you, it's done it, and it comes up, and inevitably with me, never 50-50, never right in the sweet spot. However, in life, I believe you and I constantly need to take time out, stop and pause what we're doing, and actually take some time to measure where we're at. We need to have a measuring process in our life. We've got these goals, we've got these aspirations, we've got these dreams, we've got these things that we want to achieve in every area of our life. I'm talking about holistically, I'm talking financially, economically, in your business, I'm talking about your relationships, I'm talking about your physical health, I'm talking about your emotional health, your intrapersonal health, talking about your mental and your intellectual facets. I'm talking about all these different areas of life, and we've got to stop and we've got to measure where we're at in life and see if our little red dot is somewhere in the vicinity of the sweet spot. When it comes to measuring, I just want to share briefly with you a couple of keys. The first thing is, and Leela talked phenomenally well about the identity principle. The first thing is that we've got to know exactly what our target is. We've got to know who we are, how we've been made, what our potential is for us as individuals, what our unique potential is. Mine's very different to yours. Yours is very different to the person sitting next to you. And as individuals, we've got to recognise that each one of us have a unique purpose, have a unique calling, have a unique plan that we can actually walk on this earth. So it's about not so much about other people when I'm talking about this, it's about who we are on the inside. I'm currently studying, I'm nearly finished a Master of Arts. I'm glad I already have a job because I'm studying arts, but I'm majoring in leadership. And this is a real passion of mine, raising strong leaders and healthy role models for our young people. But in terms of my marks, when I get an essay back or a paper back from an assignment back, I'm not looking at that mark compared to how everybody else in my cohort has gone. The only person I'm comparing that to is myself. I actually want to know, did I do the best that I could in the context, in those circumstances that I was working under? How did I go against myself? I know what I'm capable of. I know what I could have done. I know the pressure that I was feeling while I was writing that assignment. When I get that grade back, I simply want to know, did I do the best I could at that time? Did I reach my potential at that time? So it's very important for us to have an inner gauge and an inner understanding of who we are and what we can achieve, what we're gifted in, what are our strengths and our weaknesses. And it's really important to stay true to that and to have integrity in terms of our identity. Polonius in Hamlet said, "To thine own self be true." And I believe that you and I need to realise who exactly we've been designed to be and who we're created to be. For me, I have a spiritual foundation that I lean on in terms of understanding who I am. The second thing I want to talk about is measuring ourselves in terms of measuring our lives, measuring if our little red dot is hitting the sweet spot, is other people. Because you and I, every day, our lives are not shaped simply from within. They're shaped from external forces, then the atmosphere and the world and the environment in which we live. And so I want to talk about comparison regarding other people. I want to talk about positive and negative comparison in measuring where we're at in life. Positive comparison is powerful. Positive comparison will actually liberate us, it will enlarge us, and it will cause our little red dot to move to the target, to the sweet spot. If we look at other people and we look at mentors that are in our lives, we look at teachers who are in our lives, we look at leaders who are in our lives, and we allow what they've learned and what they can offer the world to rub off and influence us, then that actually in turn causes our little red dot to go into the sweet spot. I like to think that every day we wake up, we actually go into the classroom. We're a student in the world. We're a student on this planet. But unlike school, where you're told whose classroom you need to sit in, you and I as adults, we actually have the opportunity to place our chair in the classroom of our choosing. Each one of you today have chosen to place your chair here and listen to people like me offering our random thoughts and ideas. You've chosen that. Every day you and I get to choose whose classroom we sit in. Who's going to be our teacher today? Who are we going to learn from today? Who are we going to glean from today? That's positive comparison. When I look at somebody else and I go, you know what? They've got that area of life pretty well sorted. I'm going to take some of that and put it into my life. And hopefully that's going to lead my little red dot to reach its sweet spot. Negative comparison, on the other hand, is a prison. It will cripple you. It will stunt you. You won't get anywhere. Negative comparison is where you're looking at your little red dot and you're wishing that it was on somebody else's crosshairs. You're wishing that your little red dot was over there. You're looking at somebody else's and going, gosh, they've got stuff together. I wish I could be like that. I wish I was that person. I wish that was my life. Negative comparison will imprison you. In my work with young women and young people, this has been one of the biggest keys to seeing these young people flourish. And I believe it's got application no matter what age we are. These young people are totally crippled by what other people think and by looking at somebody else and saying, I could never do that, I could never be that, so you know what, I'm just going to give up and stop trying. That's how a lot of our young people think. And if I'd done that today, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, because the calibre of speakers and presentations that we've had today has been so extraordinary that if I'd looked at other people and gone, you know what, I'm just going to run out the back and pretend that I was never here. Sorry, Chan, I'm a little bit feeling ill today, I'm just going to do that. I would not be here. I would be imprisoned in that place of negative comparison. But you know what? I believe that I'm secure in who I am. And so I just go, oh, well, I'm not that person that's sold like 500 trillion books, but here I am, and I'm just going to do my best and talk to you guys about what's actually happened in my life and be authentically Annalise. I'm not going to try and be somebody else. I'm not going to try and come up with like 500 tips to something else. I'm just going to be who I am. And I just really want to encourage each one of us as we measure where we're at in life, look to that internal gauge. Look to positive comparison. Don't go to the negative place. Don't wish that your dot was somebody else's. Don't wish that your life was you were living somebody else's life. Just rest assured in who you are. Be secure in who you are and who you've been created to be. Each one of us are unique. Each one of us have our own little life. We have our own little red dot. We have our own sweet spot in the middle of these crosshairs that we can reach. And I want to encourage each one of us as we walk out today to just go, where is my little red dot? Am I in the vicinity? Am I out here somewhere? Am I a little bit closer? Or have I actively chosen to put my little red dot completely off the page because I'm crippled by fear or by what other people are doing or what other people think of me? I hope that each one of us are on this page, on our own page. I hope that each one of us are working towards living life in the sweet spot. Where is your little red dot? Thank you.